We going live. Y'all already know the flow. Open both your eyes. In these tumultuous times, we the hope supply with the dopest vibe. Change your frequency. We go to war and leave peacefully 2 times a week and let the people see. Talking about the mainstream artists and the elite MCs on your computers, but we should be on your TV screens. Haters ain't seeing green. They just stressed out, sticking their neck out until I become a guillotine. Or guillotine, however you pronounce it. Sneak attack, just a freestyle, I ain't announce it. For those that really know me out there, how could you doubt how are you sounding? Y'all better watch the man. I'm known to throw punches, I'm a boxing fan. You the one stealing bars, I could be chopping hands. Y'all can cook, just bring your own pots and pans. In the kitchen, whipping, still a go against the system. Some is glad, some is mad that I'm in this position. What y'all need to do is pay attention. They say rap is in a grave condition. To save it, we'll take the mission. What's up? Huh. Woo. What's up?
Yeah.
Yo. We're back again for another Saturday night, late night run of the weekend rhyme. What's good, people? What's good, Leroy?
What's good? Bars.
Who was that on the intro?
Bars, hey. A2HH, we going live. Y'all already know the flow. This is no surprise. Get focused, open both your eyes. In these tumultuous times, we the hope supply with the dopest vibe. Change your frequency. We go to war and leave peacefully 3 times a week and let the people see. Talking about the mainstream artists and the elite MCs. On your computers, but we should be on your TV screens. Haters ain't seeing green. They just stressed out, sticking their neck out until I become a guillotine or guillotine, however you pronounce it. Sneak attack, just a freestyle. I ain't announce it. For those that really know me out there, how could you doubt this? The flow that found the youth fountain. Move mountains, who's counting? How are you sounding? Y'all better watch the man. I'm known to throw punches. I'm a boxing fan. Some of y'all still in bars. I could be chopping hands. It's all good. Just bring your own pots and pans. In the kitchen, whipping, still a go against the system. Some is happy, some is mad that I'm in this position. What you need to do is pay attention. They say rap is in a grave condition. To save it, we'll take the mission. What's up? What's up? Rob,
what's up? But that was well executed. That was well executed. What's up, Leroy? I like that. Again, for those that are coming into the room, that was Leroy with A2HH, some opening bars, you know, some nice light work for the Saturday night, right? So welcome back to the weekend rhyme. That was dope, Leroy. We appreciate that. We got actual hosts that can rap. Mike's an MC, Leroy's an MC, and if y'all waiting for me to rhyme, y'all gonna be waiting for a long time. I'm in the background. I'm a producer. I leave the rhymes to the professionals. So anyway, we got a good show for y'all tonight. We thought we would take it out west because the West is kind of doing a victory lap. Like my man John Norris says, he's been taking a victory lap for the last few weeks.
Green.
They've been dancing around. They've been walking, throwing it up. We'll take a trip out west tonight. We'll look at what's going on historically in the West Coast. Who are some underrated MCs? What are some underrated albums? So in the chat, do me a favor. Hit like and subscribe. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. But also let us know who's underrated in the West Coast. What's your favorite West Coast MC? What's your favorite album? We're going to be giving away some things tonight, some T-shirts. And also, we are starting next week, be giving out some tickets to festivals. So in order to do that, you make sure you subscribe to our newsletter, our weekly, the week according to hip hop. Make sure you subscribe to that. We'll make sure we get your information, and we'll randomly select somebody for some festivals over the summer, and we'll have a good time. So welcome to the show. Saturday night, you can be anywhere right now, but you're rocking with us. So let's take them out west, Leroy. So you and I were talking earlier. What are some of your favorite West Coast albums of all time?
All right, we're going to go through this slowly. Let's all keep in mind that, we all are of a certain age. So it depends on when we started listening to rap, right? As opposed to like going outside, right? We heard it like as kids, but when we started going outside is when we really got into it, right? So we're going to go through the classes. I'm going to go through the underrated ones and the famous ones, right? Or the ones that are we know to be the greatest, right? Of the West Coast. But let me start with the game. You know what I mean? Let me start with the game. his discography is underrated. So we gonna go with the documentary, right? And speaking for the OGs, like we rhyming, you know what I mean? Kendrick came out rhyming, Game came out rhyming, and with the Black Slim Shady, Game told you it's nothing but rhymes. He told you I'm only trying to bar up. So with him going at Rick Ross, we gonna show the youngins how to do it. It's Game and Rick Ross, but we know because Game said he's only trying to bar up, like lyrically. We know nothing's gonna happen. Game and Rick Ross see each other, they're gonna salute, keep it moving. But just for the bars, Ross, you got an underrated discography as well, my brother. So West Coast, Miami Game, but we know that it's strictly about music, and that's what the Drake and Kendrick beef should have been, right? But I ain't mad at it. But we go OGs, you see the gray right here? OGs, let's show them, let's show the youngins how to just bar up, right? Game is just barring up, you know, cut his stomach open and put the bricks in it, put him on a scale and it looks like fish in it, you know, like, but he's just barring up. That's all. It's just who could rhyme the best. It ain't nothing more than that. And a competition throughout the game, not just rapping, but throughout the pod space as well. We going skill. Now we throwing bars at each other because we like that energy. I hear the energy out there and I like that. You know what I mean? Keep that. But you know what I mean? We know what's up. It's skill.
I got you. Let me touch on a few things that you said, right? So in the pod space, you know, generally I think pod beef is corny because, you know, we're grown, we're talking about hip hop. So we can keep it light, we can keep it fun, some friendly jazz. When it gets kind of personal, we leave it out the window. That's corny talk. All the tough talk is whack. So we're going to keep it professional. We're going to keep it about hip hop. This is what the people are here for. You know, everybody's trying to build their platform. There's room for everybody to keep it in a friendly space, put the work in, and engage the people. Now, the second thing you said, okay, before I get to the documentary, the Rick Ross and Game beef. Now, Game is lethal when it comes to those bars and beef. He went out 50. He had a GU Not thing back in the day when they fell out. He was relentless. You know, 50 is an executioner. He didn't take the Game out during that whole run. You know, and talking to Mike last week, he thought that Game onslaught with GU Not, that whole campaign, kind of put a dent in G Unit, right? It kind of moved 50 off that square. Game also went at Jay-Z. Now, Jay-Z never really responded like that. He responded a little bit here and there. You know, I think he did a couple freestyles where he said he don't play games with people, you know, and things like that. He had a couple bars directed towards Game's way. But Jay never took Game out. Game also went at Meek Mill. I mean, what was that record called? When he went to Philadelphia, he was in Baltimore, about the rats. God, I forgot the name of that record. But anyway.
It was like the one at Meek, right?
Pest Control. That was like 7 minutes of straight heat. I mean, Meek ain't had nothing to really respond to that. Then he had what was that? Was it 300 bars or was it what was that? It was like 300 bars, I think, right? Yeah. And he's just crushing me, right?
Yeah. Hold your thought on 300 bars. Somebody said crooked. I'm gonna be in LA in July. I need you to come through. All right, go ahead. 300 bars, Ron. Game. Go ahead.
300 bars. So Game is a battle-tested veteran, man. So this Rick Ross situation, and I'm looking at Rick Ross's energy, like his energy when he was going at Drizzy last week. You know what I'm saying? When he was calling him BBL Drizzy and calling him white boy. Mm-hmm. I'm not seeing it unless he's on IG all the time. Unless he put something out in the last hour or so, I'm not seeing that same energy directed toward Game because Game is a problem. And when you look at Game's discography, you can make an argument, and we're going to get into that a little bit later. You can make an argument that Game might have 2 classics and a possible, maybe 3.
Easy.
He might have 4 or 5 good, solid albums, and a lot of folks on the West Coast can't say that. So, we got to give props to Game right now, but we got to give props to Game.
Game is one of them ones, and I mean, we seen it in real life. Like, I can't never say I met the Game, but I had some homies that have, and they'd be like, nah, he really be rapping, and he's just rapping, and he been that way. Like, I know the public perception of the Game. I understand that. But that aside, like personal life aside, as far as just like rapping, right? People that have been in the studio with Game, they're like, nah, he be really rapping. So it's like all the MCs, the rappers, lyricists, everybody who loves this, I love this, we all love this, right? Jump in and just rap. It sounds crazy when we're throwing bars, but we all know that it's about the skill level of how we throw the bars. It's not more than that. And that's what Game is coming with. Game was in the Bay Area before the documentary came out. We already knew who the Game was. We already heard him rap. We already knew all about the Game. Before Dr. Dre got to Game, he was in the Bay Area with the big homie JT the Bigger Figure. I'm JT from Pendulum Inc. I mean, I could go back to the early 90s with me and JT the Bigger Figure in the first independent label. Back when Master P was just getting started, at a warehouse pressing up CDs, getting it popping when everyone was trying to run the labels, but been rapping again. So let's do it. MCs, I appreciate the Game. Ross, underrated catalog. You can Ross, and you know how to rhyme. Ross is a writer. Let's do it. Let's show Drake, Kendrick, the younger generation how to just rap. We're making the best songs. It's not about like, let me just try to destroy this person. It's about, let me make the best songs, put them out, and then people will be like, yeah, it's about the music first, right? Like it's about the culture first.
It's about the culture. It's about the music. Let's get to the music. Let's talk about the documentary. Now, the documentary was a great introductory album. Some people could say it's the top, let's just say top 25, because a lot of folks in history, the history of rap is long and vast, right? But in the history of rap, let's just say that the Game, the documentary, is a top 25 debut album of all time. I mean, we got How We Do, we got Hate It or Love It, you got Put You on the Game, you got Dreams, which is a great record produced by Kanye West, one of my favorite Kanye West produced tracks. I mean, it's got so many. What's that other song?
Kanye on the Ghostface album. That was an old Kanye on the Ghostface.
Kanye. So he's got a lot of stuff on there, man. 50, takes credit for a lot of it, but the documentary is a classic. It's a classic album, man. It's a classic album. I mean, it's a strong debut. I remember when they first were promoting it back in the day in XXL. I think the Source was still out back then in Vibe. I mean, it was what the West Coast needed at the time, and you can't even knock it. So Leroy, you were outside back in the day when the documentary came out. What was the feeling when the documentary came out from the people on the West Coast?
It was reminiscent of a '96 Ras Kass, but it was 04 Game. So what we have is a lyricist from the West Coast, or like an Exhibit, from '98, but it's the Game, and he's lyrical. He got Just Blaze beats. He got Dr. Dre beats. He got Eminem cosign. He got G-Unit with him. Yeah, people give 50 the credit for his hook writing ability, as he should get that credit, as he should. But the 16s in between, from the Game that I knew before the documentary came out, the bars were already like that. He was already sharp with the bars before 50. Like, you know what I mean? The first song starts out West Side Story. So Crip niggas, blood niggas, essays, Asians, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, vice lords, Haitians. You know what I mean? Yo, you know how it goes, right? So he was already nice like that. You know what I mean? Since the West Coast fell off, the streets been watching. The West Coast never fell off. I was sleeping Compton, Aftermath still here. The beats is knocking. Dog Pound doing their thing. Nate Dogg is rocking. But he was already nice. You know what I mean?
It was nice, man. You had Higher was dope. You had High Tech to the Beat. Running was dope. You had Just Blaze did a couple of them. The Just Blaze joints was dope. I mean, This is a solid album, man. Dre's on the production. You got Havoc to the beat. Timbaland to the beat. Kanye laced them up. This album is crazy, man. This album is crazy. It's really slept on. It really is, man. It's not slept on. It's not because I think people hold the documentary in real high regard. But on the West Coast, is this album still being held like that out in the Bay, out in Cali? People still look at the documentary as one of those ones.
No. I mean, yeah, of course. The documentary is one of them ones, man, because, the West had to make a comeback. Hey, shout out someone that said Evidence. The Weatherman in 07 is one of them ones, but not one of the greatest, though, but is one of them ones on the underground greatest. Weatherman's one of them ones. Game of documentary, we needed that. because 50 was doing his thing, and we rock with 50. Dre was doing his thing, M was doing his thing, Kanye was doing his thing, Jeezy and everything. But the game he came through, and he was about bars. He was just about bars, y'all. And that's, if we're gonna get to the bars, let's get to the bars. This man been in multiple beefs, just like Ross been in multiple beefs. But we got 100 bars, 200 bars, 300 bars, 400 bars, 500 bars, 600 bars. No, I'm just kidding. But we got hundreds of bars, y'all. So let's get to it. You know what I mean?
Let's get to it. Now, I want to talk about this next album, and I'm going to let you cook about the other West Coast great albums. But what happened with the Doctor's Advocate? Because the Doctor's Advocate, I think, if memory serves me correctly, didn't have a lot of production from Dr. Dre on it. I think... Scott Storch did the first single, which was Let's Ride, which Let's Ride hit. I like Let's Ride. Let's Ride. Oh,
shout out Oakland. I was just in your neighborhood. Keisha Cole was good.
Yeah, Let's Ride was dope. And then you had Wouldn't Get Far with Kanye West. But Dr. Dre wasn't on it like that. I don't think it was a great follow-up, but I thought it was cool. It was a solid effort. I like Let's Ride. Scott Storch got down. Wouldn't Get Far was a dope record, one of Kanye's best. But how did you feel about the Doctor's Advocate when it came out?
The Doctor's Advocate was just like Snoop Dogg's second album, The Dogfather, in which Snoop Dogg had a falling out with Suge Knight. When he had the falling out with Suge Knight, granted, there's a lot going on. So Suge Knight pulled the financial backing from Snoop Dogg. So what you hear on The Dogfather is Snoop going back to beats he already had before he was famous and trying to piece something together. So I say that to say with the game, after his beefing with G-Unit, he had a falling out with Dre, Iveen, the rest of the staff at Interscope. So they demoted him to Geffen. So at that point, the financial backing for the promotion is not what it used to be for the debut documentary. So, but the game still delivered. He had to go back to where he was from. Like I'm saying, when that happens, you go back to the garage, plug in the beats, and do what you got to do. And that's what Game did. I mean, sonically, it may not be what it was the first time, or promotion-wise, it may not be what it be. But he was still rapping his ass off. And that album is Doctor's Advocate. That's crazy. That's deep. That's crazy.
So before we get into the other West Coast, we got a lot of West Coast albums to talk about tonight. But I want to finish up with Game. I'm gonna skip over LAX because I wasn't a big LAX fan. I'm gonna jump straight to the Red album, right? So a Red album that had Red Nation on it, which was a crazy hook by Lil Wayne. I thought this was a slept-on effort. I think it had a couple bangers on there. It had Red Nation for sure. It had a song with Snoop. What else did it have on it? It had Mama Knows, which had Born in the Trap. Primo was on this album. Born in the Trap was on this joint.
Born in the Trap,
fire record. The Red album was really slept on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think he kind of bounced back from LAX. Again, I need to go back and revisit LAX. I just know when it came out, I wasn't a super duper fan. But this was a solid album. Red Nation was crazy. Red Nation, Lil Wayne and Game, that hook, it's just blood on the ground. It's just crazy, man. It's crazy, man. They banned that video. Little known fact, they banned that video because it was showing up the set. It was showing the sets, and they thought it was depicting gang activity and gang culture and gang violence. They had to censor the video a little bit, and they removed it from playing. So, but yeah, the Red album was dope. The Red album was dope, and then just to close out Game, you got the documentary 2, you got 2.5, you got 1992, and also you've got my favorite album. One of my favorite albums from Game is Born to Rap. I mean, Born to Rap is a crazy. He said that was going to be his last album, but it wasn't. But Born to Rap has got the light on it. It has it has the light. It has
Easy.
It has Carmen Electra, where they took the D'Angelo song, Devil's Pool. They flipped that. It's got
Savage on it.
Yeah, I mean that record is crazy, man. So Born to Rap is 4.5 easy. Documentary 2 is 4.5 easy. Documentary 2.5 was dope. 1992 was cool. A lot of people don't talk about 1992. That's a cool album, man. So Game's got two in the possible classics, and he's got like 4 or 5 dope albums.
Yeah. Jesus Peace, you know what I mean? But all this
forgot about Jesus Peace.
Jesus Peace, y'all. I mean, that one's crazy. The third one, which was Lax, that has some joints on it too, like Dope Boys, Old English. But that was when he gets into the live instrumentation on top of the production. So he got back in position after Doctor's Advocate, and he's able to call in the live production. 1500 and different other people. He's rocking with that, you know what I mean? But Game is a solid album maker, like Ross is a solid album maker. So when we talk about the documentary, I mean, that's underrated. That is a West Coast. That's one of them ones. Yeah, I mean, that's one of them ones, my G.
It's one of them ones. Hey, yo, we need to do a Rumble matchup. We're gonna go catalog for catalog. We're gonna check that bar work. We're gonna check the production work. We're gonna check the sequencing work. Yeah. Album for album, song for song, maybe 25 versus 25 songs. Ross versus Game. That's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
That's why, Ross, you got to get it. Your first diss to Drake. What was that? Champagne Moments. That was cool. I like the beat. I like the pen and, you know, it crack smoke is the exhaust from my pen and pad. That was fire, my brother. I like that one. But go back at Game and just get in your bag. We know it's lyrical. We know you and Game is going to piece it up later. But let's just go into our bag and get lyrical. You see, you got the artwork on you. You said you 12 hot wings short of a heart attack. Oh, God, you know, God willing, that's the case, but Ozempic starter pack. You know what I mean? But he was like, the game started going crazy. He said he don't want to hear about marble floors or spiral steps or Audemars or, you know, umbrellas in the car doors. He just wants to hear bars. You know what I mean? So before I get into Kurupt, Game just wants to bar up. You know what I mean? Before I get into the next one, Kurupt Young Gotti. You know what I mean?
All right, let's get to Kurupt. Yeah, just a real thing. Hit us up in the chat, hit us up in the super chat. We will be opening the lines up in a few as we go through some albums. So nothing's changed. So keep on showing love and support. So let's get to Kurupt. You said the streets is a mother. You wanted to talk about the streets is a mother.
The streets is a mother. Shout out Kurupt. Hey, Roscoe. Hey, 21st Street. Hey, LA. Hey. You know what I'm saying? But Kurupt is one of them ones. Ever since, you know, New York, the dog food. Ever since, you know what I mean? I mean, we know what Kurupt do. I started to say some, you know, the B word a lot because that's in his lyrics a lot. But we know, corruption, streets is a mother came after the corruption. You know what I mean? But that one, Daz production, crazy. Crooked Eye was on the album as well. He had Organized Noise on the album to start it off. With you know what I mean? Hey, you know the first song, you know, but he had the whole Dog Pound on there. Kurupt is one of them ones, you know what I mean? So he's underrated. Just when Kurupt comes on, Kurupt is West Coast Inspector Deck. You know what I'm saying?
Kurupt. I can feel that. So what about this album, mate? What stood out about you? Because I remember when this album came out, I was on the East Coast. Yeah, and what I knew about it before I got into this album, there was an album before this one. What was the name of that album? This is the one we had. It was like, we can freak it if you want to.
Corruption
was the album before this one, I think. Then The Streets of the Mother came out. I think the first single on this one was Girls All Paws of the Ladies. So yeah, I think Daz was on here heavily. I think Daz, did he produce the whole thing or most of it? Let me look at the track list.
He produced a lot of it. You know what I mean? But Daz is one of them underrated. Shout out to Daz for Retaliation, Revenge, and Get Back. That's a West Coast classic.
So we're gonna get to that in a minute. But for as far as Kurupt goes, if we're folks on the West Coast feeling this one more, or were they feeling the first one? The Corruption album.
More so this one, the Corruption album. I don't know if everybody knew about it because I was outside when that came out, and when it dropped, people was like, "Oh, Kurupt got an album," but they didn't. I don't know, something was off of when they knew it was coming out. But We Can Freak It as a West Coast. You play We Can Freak It, and it's turning up, ladies. We can freak it if you want to. You already know, if you want to. That is going up. So Battle Cat, he came. That was after he came with the If It Ain't Great, the G's Up with East Siders. East Siders with Battle Cat on there. That was a crazy album too. You know what I mean? But Kurupt delivered. He delivered. You know what I mean? Dog Pound.
Dog Pound. Okay, so we wanted to segue. You want to go to his collaborator in rhyme, Daz Dillinger, his album. His album was his album. Speak on that. Speak on how the West Coast felt about that. Why did you put this on your list?
Revenge, retaliation, and get back. Right? Revenge, but Daz as a producer, everybody respects Daz as a producer, and he rhymes too because he got to rhyme next to Kurupt. So he got to be able to hold it down. He's like Big Pooh rhyming next to Fonte. You know what I mean? But he got to hold it down because Kurupt's going crazy. But the thing about it is Daz production, though. When we talk about that album, he got in his bag. He been around since the early Snoop, the early Pac, the early Dre. He was in the room with a young Warren G, Nate Dogg, 213, early Long Beach. You know what I mean? Daz is one of them ones, and with that album, he held it down. Go back to Retaliation, Revenge, and Get Back. That shit's slapping. That shit is slapping. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to find the artwork. I got the artwork loaded up.
Come on,
let me pull it because I got to give Daz his props. So let me pull up the artwork real quick.
Shout out to Daz.
There you go. Retaliation, Revenge, and Get Back. I had to show love. I had to find the artwork and put it up for people to see.
Hey, the artwork is crazy, classic artwork. If anybody in the chat, you know where that artwork came from, let me know. Let me know where the artwork came from. But
and I think we're working on getting Daz and getting an interview with Daz. Hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, we'll have a so like how we did with Pete Rock. We're probably going to get an interview with Daz.
Call me. I need to get.
We're working on an interview right now with Manny Fresh.
Yeah.
We're gonna get Toop on. We're gonna get so we're gonna do a whole producer series. We had some talks with DJ. I don't want to give it away. DJ so that conversation is gonna happen. Pete Rock conversation was dope. So we really want to shout out to the producers. We really want to start working in the production community, right? And showing love to up and coming producers, OG producers. Yes. And we want to have those conversations, how those big records were made. So that's coming about. I'm looking forward. I'm most excited for the Daz conversation. That's coming soon, and the Manny conversation. So y'all stay tuned for that. Check with us about that. So continue on this Daz record. What were some of your favorite records on this joint?
The first joint had the whole Dog Pound on it. So the Dog Pound all together is not just Daz and Kurupt, but it's Superfly, it's Badass, it's Trey D, it's Snoop, it's Nate Dogg, it's the whole Dog Pound. So they was all rapping. You know what I mean? There's a song on there called OG on there as well. Too Short. Shout out Too Short, one of the great albums, Born to Mac, but Too Short's on there. But that Dub C is on there. You know what I mean? Y'all heard the album. Tupac is on there. You know what I mean? But the whole album, he's sliding. And it just sounds like some West Coast has a certain energy, a certain sound. And when we hear it, we know it. Be legit. Be legit. What y'all know about Be Legit? Quit playing with me, man. Hint Museum, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Hey, but that album, I need y'all to go back to that one, man. I need y'all to go back to that one. Came out, right after, the Pac situation. You know what I mean? But, a year later, though. But, but he held it down. Him and Kurupt. You know what I mean?
He did. So what album? I think we should go back a little bit. Let's step back a little bit. Let's go back to an artist who I think is now just starting to get his just due, right? I think that, as a kid, as a youngster, I think the media manufactured a lot of different things on the East Coast about this particular artist, right? And I want to make sure I pull up the artwork. So I want to make sure I got it loaded up. Hold on one second. Let's talk about MC Hammer. Right?
Hammer, please, Hammer, don't hurt him. Come on.
Hammer, a Bay Area legend, a music legend, a hip hop legend.
Hey,
an Oakland legend. There's not a lot you can say about Hammer. What I do remember is that back in the day, the media created a narrative that Hammer wasn't like that, and I guess it was to turn people off against Hammer. I know
Nope.
I think third base. They had third base. Pop go to Weasel, and the Weasel goes Pop. They were dissing Vanilla Ice and MC Hammer in that joint. A lot of folks were taking shots at Hammers, and I think that was set by the labels to discredit what Hammer was doing. Like Hammer was like the hip hop. I don't want to use that term. He was like a show. He was like a spectacle, and he was a real dude. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't. You know, I mean, he was a dancer. He brought that. And a lot of cats were dancing back in the day. You had Big Daddy Kane dancing. You had Heavy D and the Boys dancing. So it wasn't a unique thing to Hammer. Hammer just was bigger and better. He had the endorsements. He had the Pepsi endorsements. I think he had a cartoon. Saturday morning. And he had toys. He had action figures. He had pants. I used to have the baggy pants back in the day. And my grandma used to call me out in the living room. I put the pants on. I started doing the Hammer dance, the typewriter joint. It had people lit. So I think back in the day, there was a concerted effort to discredit who Hammer was and his legacy. And that's why he's everything not popping out at these 50-year hip-hop celebrations because he thinks it's fake. And shout out to Young Nas, his nephew. He's out in the Bay. But Hammer was dope, man. And I think people over time are starting to give Hammer his respect.
We got to, man. This is rap Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? Like, as far as I'm concerned, from California, he brought the whole Oakland with him. Dancing was a thing. Dancing was when you had to be fly. You hit the dance floor, you gotta be doing your thing. You know what I mean? And this brother had an army of dancers. He had the whole game on lock from the streets to the mainstream. He was entertaining to watch. He was too legit to quit. You can't touch this. You know what I mean? But hey, Hammer was one of them ones. He inspired a lot of the stuff. We was all trying to dance back then. Come on, we wasn't just like rapping. We was trying to dance too. Shout out to everyone who used to break dance or whatever. He was more into the pop locking, which is more the West Coast is more into the pop locking, upbeat type of fast paced movement. But Hammer is one of them ones. Y'all all know. Y'all was little kids. Y'all all know. You know what I mean?
We all know, and I think it was really whack what the media did, man, trying to turn us against our brother. So I'm shout out to outlets like ours and others that really the truth is coming out with the advent of social media.
Yeah,
with YouTube, with IG, with X, Twitter. Mm-hmm. The message is getting out there, and I'm going through the comments, and people are like, man, Hammer was that dude. And I'm like, yeah, but if you went back in the day, and it was a concerted effort to take Hammer out the game. And I don't know why that was, but I would love to have like a sit down exclusive interview with Hammer, show him his proper love. And but yeah, Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him was crazy, man. I mean, we all know what it was. You know what I'm saying? Before we get off Hammer, I just want to give Hammer his flowers. Shout out to MC Hammer. I want to pivot a little bit, Leroy. You didn't have this on your list, but one of the MCs I liked and one of the crews I liked was Compton's Most Wanted, MC Eiht. How was the West Coast rocking? Shout out to Nori. He's on Drink Champs today. What was the West Coast feeling about MC Eiht and CMW?
Come on, music to drive by. Fire. You know what I mean? MC Eiht is one of them ones too. Menace to Society. You know what I mean? Come on, man. MC Eiht is one of them ones. It's just his style. It sounds real. He has a certain delivery. You know what I mean? But as far as storytelling, as far as just making you feel the vibe of what it's like on some California West Coast shit, MC Eiht is one of them ones. Just like Quick is one of them ones, but MC Eiht is one of them ones, man.
See, I want to give people their flowers on the show, man. You know what I'm saying? So when we were going through the production call today, I was like, man, let me pull up. Let's talk about MC Eiht and CMW. We're gonna do a full show on some of these cats because I think it's good. We want to talk about the current topics on Mic Check. So shout out to Mic Check. We'll be on Monday. We talk about those current topics. We got the weekend rhyme with me and Leroy. I got the Nameless show with Ron Vay. Shout out to Vay. We drop those on Thursdays. Mike does his check-ins. Hell, we're gonna be on 7 days a week soon. Hey, and the video show is coming. The video show is coming. We're trying to get everything cleared out, but we might put the video show on Rumble. We taking it back in the day like Arnell Star and The Box.
Come on.
And Yo MTV Raps. We bringing these videos back, man. You're spending money on these videos. You gotta let us play it, man. Take all those restrictions. Take out all those damn copyright strikes, man. Let us play the videos. Let us talk about it. But yeah, the video show may drop sooner than you think. You know, I might drop it tomorrow, man. But I'll be on Rumble and I'll be on X because we don't want to get flagged on YouTube. So follow us on social media. The video show is coming. I got a name for it. We got a name for it. Mike and I got a name for it. We will reveal it. And we got another show coming. We got 2 other shows in the pipeline. So, man, shit, we're gonna be 7 days a week. So, as I segue into that, what's the next album you want to talk about? Let's get to Short, man. Let's go to the Bay. Since we're MC Hammer, let's talk about Short.
Let's talk about him. Short, you know, that's an architect. That's an architect of the game. First we talk, you know, hey, get in where you fit in. You know, that's an architect. He started going out the trunk first in the 80s. You know what I mean? But he really got rap lit. Like early, because when you start selling a lot and doing a lot, people start seeing, okay, this is a real business. Short Dog, he's one of them ones, man. Oakland official, man. I remember back in the day, I used to go to the YMCA on in East Oakland, and Short used to come through on a regular basis. He's just chilling. You know what I mean? He's just chilling at the, you know, giving advice to the kid. He don't got to be there. He's rich already. But he just come through like, what's up, you know, Short. Hey, so classic albums back in the day, getting it. Born to Mac, Cocktails, Life is Too Short. Come on, man. Short is one of them ones now.
Short is one of those ones. My dude Super Duper couldn't make it tonight, but he was like, man, you can't talk about the West Coast without Short. I said, you're absolutely right, sir. And he said Cocktails was a dope one. And he said Get In Where You Fit In was a dope one too. And he had another one. Who on phone at? And he also want to highlight that Too Short was behind those boards. He was a producer as well. A lot of folks don't know that. So, you know what I'm saying? So Short was actually producing his joints as well. And you really can't say. Now, there's one misstep, I think. And I don't want to call it a misstep, but back in 1999, Too Short had an album called Can't Stay Away. And I listened to prepare for the show today. I went back and revisited this album. Okay. And this was the time, 1999 was a weird period, right? Because I remember in The Source, that was the album that was the period where they would have like, damn near every record was like a compilation. Everybody was on everybody's record. Every producer was on everybody's record. And it wasn't cohesive projects. 99, 98. And I think they really started. I think Volume 2 can probably take credit for that, right? Because they saw what Jay did for Volume 2. Then after that, and he had Life in was it 1972, the Jermaine Dupri album.
I'm gonna talk to Mike about that. I got to talk to Mike about that, because Mike be like, you know, Jay was jumping around, but that's what you're supposed to do. Before Jay was jumping around, E40 was jumping around doing songs with everybody from the South. But Jay was jumping around too, but that's expanding your base. A lot of people, we frown upon that in hip hop. It shouldn't be frowned upon. Drake should have stood on that in his battle against Kendrick. He should have been like, brother, I expand the culture by doing songs with everybody. But Too Short. But the West and the South was like that. But Jay also, he jumped around, expanding the base, expanding the sound. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that was big in 1999. Again, I mean, I've got to go back and look at my old archive of Source magazines if I can find them. But every album had a lot of folks on it, man. It was par for the course. It wasn't. But I think a lot of that, I'm trying to pinpoint when that first happened. I would have to say Volume 2. Hard Not Life was the first time I can think of it. I know Jermaine Dupri did it.
No, I got it. But Volume 2 is all of Jay's friends, though. So it makes sense that he's on their album because they all hang out together. Look, Murder Inc. was a real thing. Like, that was Jay, X, and Ja. That was a real group. So when you hear them doing songs together and that team doing songs together, or that group, that was a real thing. What y'all hearing in Volume 2 is really just the off break of probably what was Murder Inc. You know what I mean?
I got you. So what was your favorite Too Short album?
Favorite Short album. I gotta go with, you know, probably Getting It. You know what I mean? But that, you know, that was my time era. You should be getting it. Get it where the getting is good. Get it while you can. You should be getting it. you know, but there's another one too that it'll come back to me. But Short, he's like what Drake is to you hip hop ears, mainstream ears. He's the background to a lot of player shit in the Bay Area. You know what I mean? We come from player culture. You know what I mean? So I know, you know, a lot. We're used to the gangster culture. The player culture is a little different. You know what I mean? The player culture is a little different. Atlanta know about it. Atlanta know about it, man.
Yeah. We know about it a little bit. The player culture, it really comes from, you know, Atlanta's got a little bit of it, but my players are really like Memphis. Like Memphis got a lot of that player culture. You know what I'm saying? Memphis is a big player town. You know what I'm saying? You know, in the Bay, in Cali, y'all, there's some kind of synergy between the cities, right? Because a lot of folks from Memphis clearly came out to LA to kind of get some game, went to the Bay Area, scooped up some game, and came back. You know what I mean? So shout out to Memphis, man. We're gonna do a whole show on Memphis hip hop one of these days, man. But before we get to the big one of the West Coast, hit us in the chat. Let us know who's underrated on the West Coast. I know there's people say Crooked Eye. Speak on Crooked Eye a little bit, Leroy. Speak on Crooked Eye's pin game.
Crooked Eye's pin game going all the way back to the Wake Up Show with Sway and Tech. Shout out Sway, who was in the class with Kid Capri and Pete Rock at Pendulum Inc. Shout out Sway. But Crooked Eye, he's lethal with the pen, just like Eminem is ill with the syllables. Crooked Eye was already that. Like Tech Nine, shout out to Tech Nine. He's on the Conway album. I like that one with Conway and Tech Nine. The syllables, Crooked Eye was already there. Crooked Eye was already there. He's Big L. Someone's mentioning Big L. Crooked Eye is that way. He's aligning up his multi-syllables in a way. You know what I mean? So he been that way, and I got to meet Crooked Eye, man. I got to meet Crooked Eye. And when I meet you, I'm going to have about 30 people with me, 30 MCs, writers, singers that all love you. So pull up, Crooked Eye. You know what I mean? Pull up.
We need to get him on the pod. But you know what? We need to get him on the pod. But before I skip to the OGs, I would be remiss, and we talked about this on the last show, I would be remiss not to talk about Ras Kass, Soul on Ice. I think we need to talk about that, his debut album. Let's give Ras his flowers, man. We touched about it on the last time, but Leroy, tell us about Soul on Ice and your thoughts on that.
Soul on Ice. So around this time, we're listening to Nas. We're listening to It Was Written, right? So there's a lyrical bar that has to be met, right? So we're like, who's going to meet that bar? Ras Kass comes with Soul on Ice, right? We all knew who Ras Kass was because on the underground, Ras Kass was already Ras Kass. We all knew Ras Kass for ripping shit before Soul on Ice. When the industry gets stuff, the streets already know this person. Ras Kass was a known terrorist on the microphone. He was worse underground before he became mainstream. Underground, Ras Kass is a beast. But when he came out with Soul on Ice, come on, first, as above, so below. The metaphors, the layers, the syllables, the everything. You know what I mean? Nature of the threat. You know what I mean? But he also did scheming, like he did artilleration, just rhyming a bunch of words with the letter R. He did lyrical. He did West Coast versus East Coast on a lyrical stage, just like Game is trying to do. He shot at the East Coast, but he was saying it was strictly about bars. You know what I mean? He had the personal cuts. He had the political cuts. You know what I mean? Come on, Soul on Ice is a classic, and it made the underground West Coast proud. There's an overground, and there's also an underground to West Coast. You know what I mean? So the overground gets 90% of the love, but the underground West Coast is also a thing, man. There's a whole legacy, a whole generation of underground MCs. And Ras Kass was, that's that guy. You know what I mean? It's just that people didn't know how to process somebody with that much to say lyrically from the West Coast, because they're thinking like, where's all your gangster G-Funk era rap? And when they don't know how to process somebody who could bar up with cannabis from the West Coast. You know what I mean? Shout out to Saphir too. Golden State Warriors. But Ras Kass was serious, man. He was serious. Shout out to him.
He was serious. He was serious. I want to address something real quick. I want to address something really quickly because I think it's important. I really think it's important. So we got this guy named Brandon Sloan here, and he says, "So what the F happened to this channel? No mic or coop. No offense, but I think I speak for a lot of subscribers when I say we don't want to hear these dudes. They are not what gains you your following." So Brandon Sloan, I don't know who you are. You know, you might be working with those other guys, and I think I find your commentary quite sad. As you know, we've posted the highest numbers we've done since November, because I know I look at the back end every day since November 2023, and according to Hip Hop, started long before Coop. It was co-founded by myself, Mike, and a guy named Maurice Thompson back in 2010, and we built it, you know, as a gaming platform, and it morphed into a podcast, and it morphed into a media platform that's growing by the day. That show A2HH Live was not just the only thing that built according to hip hop. So we'll continue doing what we're doing. We shout out to our subscribers, our followers. I think it's sad that you send people out to track what we're doing. We're in a positive space talking about hip hop. We're trying to give West Coast folks their flowers tonight. If you don't like what we're doing, go over there. But I think it's kind of corny and whack that you keep going in show to show, sending people in to make crazy comments. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. You know, we got 1.7 million followers on Facebook. We're trying to get to 100,000 subs on YouTube. We got more shows coming, and we wish everyone the best, man. But keep that energy the same as we continue to grow. And we appreciate our followers. Again, this is bigger than one person leaving the show and doing something else.
I know people are mad, right? But I ain't coming here to try to desecrate the floor with what was already created before me. I came in here trying to do the best I can to make sure it keeps going up. Now, granted, again, I'm from the Bay, man. We don't hate on somebody else. We congratulate. Now, granted, y'all can say whatever y'all want about me. I appreciate that. If y'all want to pull up, if y'all want to, whatever y'all want to do, I'm here with that. But we here to elevate the culture, and we not hating on nobody, brother. Believe me, once you find your purpose and find what you need to do that fulfills what you got going on, you ain't going to have no choice but to salute everybody else, because you ain't going to feel no type of way. For those that feel a type of way about me, bring it. Like Sci-Hi taking all the criticism from Kanye. Y'all could bring it, and I just want y'all to be inspired to do what y'all do, because regardless of whatever goes on, I'm already where I want to go. You know what I mean? I'm already where I want to go.
Right. And I just wanted to say, you know, I wasn't trying to, you know, I'm gonna lay off people and say in the chat, don't give the trolls any attention. I just wanted to show what we see on a daily basis. It's not clever. It's not some kind of mystery. It's a coordinated effort to discredit the A2HH brand. It's been around since 2010. We're going to continue to grow. Shout out to everyone that's been supporting us. I may delete this out of the program and repost it, but I just wanted to address that person. So shout out to you, man. We'll send you a shirt. Send me an email address. We'll send you some free tickets to a festival, and continue to. But let's get back to the West Coast, man. Let's get back to the West Coast. So we talked about Ras Kass. Let's talk about Ras Kass. Any more words on Ras Kass before we move on?
No more words on Ras Kass, but I'm going to have to go back to the lab and think about it, man, because now that I'm in the middle of this list, I got to really think about how I'm going to, do this thing. So far we got, I could go into Dre next, but in a major way, E40 underrated as well. But I think I want to stop here, man, because how many we got so far? We got like 6 or 7 MCs, right? Or 5 MCs.
Yeah, we got a lot of folks to get into. I got a super chat that came in. Hold on, who's that? That is man, Yo Magic. What's the difference between Compton rap music and Bay rap music? Leroy, speak to that.
With LA, you got the LA culture. You know what I mean? You got that old English, that oldies. You know what I mean? That mixes into the G funk, the Parliament, and it's it's the oldies, man. Lowrider culture. It kind of slows down a little bit. You know what I mean? It has the vocals and it has a certain feel to it. The Bay Area, it has a lot of funk with it. It has a lot of the R&B and just like the late 80s up tempo type of stuff with it. You know what I mean? The last the funk and the last era of the disco and the lot. So it's a little bit faster pace, and it's player culture versus the gangster culture. But with as with LA, you have a clashing of a lot of cultures, as into where the Bay, we have a lot of cultures as well, but it's different. It's a little different. So, but the sound is comparable to like, as far as like a certain bounce, like Kendrick just dropped the Not Like Us, right? So that has a certain bounce to it. And MC8, he could do that bounce just like E40 or Too Short can do that too. So there's some parallel. You know what I mean?
Richard 49er with the super chat says Mac Dre, Mac Mall, E40, Mozzie, Sibo, the whole Bay in Northern Cali is slept on. Shout
out to Bay. These brothers, if I went outside my front door, a lot of these brothers live down the street. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these brothers live down the street. Shout out to Mac Mall, D-Shot. So it's like, this is the Bay Area, Mac Dre back in the day. But we got our own thing, Sibo. And 98 till the casket drops. I know y'all heard about the clips till the casket drops. Go listen to Sibo till the casket drops. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, we gotta do a whole show. We're gonna show Richard 49er. We're gonna show the Bay Area love. We're gonna show Northern Cal love. We're gonna do a whole show on the Bay one day, man. Matter of fact, we may just go out there and pull up and just meet with the OGs and kind of sit there and have conversations. Let them put us on some game real quick, man. So yeah, but who do we not touch on? So we talked about the game. We talked about the game's bar work, his album work, his song work. You know what I'm saying? His veteran status in the game. We talked about Daz Dillinger. We talked about Ras Kass. We talked about Kurupt. We talked about who else we talked about? We talked about Too Short. We talked about MC8. Folks giving Northern Cali and the Bay Area some love. We didn't talk about Sugar Free. Sugar Free was the epitome of player talk. You know what I'm saying? We didn't talk about Ice-T. So let's talk about let's go to those guys now. Let's go to those guys. Let's talk about Snoop.
I mean that's what I was gonna say next. Now y'all know the usual suspects: Snoop, Cube, Pac, Dre. You know what I mean? Y'all know the usual suspect. Kendrick. Y'all know and I know a lot of people feel a way about that. But when you have a Section 80 good kid, but whatever. But you said you wanted to go. Who you wanted to go? Snoop.
Let's talk about Snoop. Now we talked about the game earlier. How many classes does Snoop have? Let's keep it a buck.
I mean, people are going to disagree with me. But first of all, I like Dogfather. Now, if you don't like that, that's okay. Let's take that one off, right? So you don't like Dogfather. I like Eastsiders. I like Paid the Cost to Be the Boss. I like Last Meal, R&G, Blue Carpet, Ego Tripping, and there's probably one more in there. So just at a minimum, I already named 6.
Now you said albums that you like. Well, I'm talking about classics. I'm talking about classic albums.
I'm saying classic. I'm saying, let's be clear. I'm saying Paid the Cost to Be the Boss, Last Meal, Blue Carpet, Ego Tripping, and I named one more in there too. I'm saying those are classics. I like Paid the Cost, Last Meal, Blue Carpet, Ego Tripping. R&G, the Rhythm and Gangsta with that Pharrell produced with all the R&B on it. That's a classic. We could argue, but we could argue if y'all. That is a classic West Coast. Come on, man, Rhythm and Gangsta. Go back to Rhythm and Gangsta, y'all. That's a classic. Blue Carpet, classic. Ego Tripping, classic. Paid the Cost to Be the Boss. I could have went into other things too, but there were some missteps. But I count 5 at a minimum. I count 5. Now everyone else, y'all gonna say 1. He got 1. Look, I'm from the West. We gonna ride with Snoop. We lock into all his albums. You go back to some of them albums. You know what I mean?
I can't, when I think of classic, I'm thinking about Doggy Style. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about that. The Last Meal, I wasn't really feeling. Paid the Cost to Be the Boss. That was on No Limit, I think, right? Was that on No Limit?
No, there was on No Limit, but it was Daz behind the boards again. But y'all are thinking about Dr. Dre, which I can't knock you. Dr. Dre is Dr. Dre. So when you listen to Doggy Style, Dr. Dre. But after he left Dr. Dre, Snoop is still making dope shit.
I think Rhythm and Gangster was dope. Rhythm and Gangster was dope.
Come on,
and
man.
I think the Blue Carpet was dope as well. But I don't think I would argue. We can debate this. I think Game might have more perceived classics and may have more dope albums than Snoop. I mean that's just the fact. That's just the way it's measuring it out, man.
Snoop is also underground. Snoop is also underground. He had got a whole discography that didn't come out in the mainstream. So underground, he's already moving in certain circles. Like underground, he got albums y'all never heard of. Y'all never heard of Welcome to the Church, Volume 1 through 10. You know what I mean? So underground, he's already doing other stuff. So he got them albums. Each one of them albums got like 15, 20 songs. Yeah, Snoop Dogg is also underground in the West Coast. Not just mainstream, because he can only put out a certain sound in the mainstream. When he wants to get gangster, really, he got to do East Siders, 213. He got to go do different means. Y'all don't know about that gangster shit? Y'all don't know about that gangster shit? Y'all know about mainstream Snoop, not street Snoop. You know what I mean?
I think Snoop is a legend, OG legend. Hold on, Richard 49 with the super chat says Planet Asia and the whole school yard slept on. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Planet Asia, brother. Planet Asia is one of the illest ever. He got a Ghostface discography. Planet Asia, I met you with my brother Architect in Oakland when you used to record on what was 2 streets you used to record on. But anyway, brother, I was the young dude, you know what I mean, in writing my raps in there with Architect. But Planet Asia, extremely underrated. Barsmith, Fresno, California, but really the Bay. You know, you was in the Bay, my brother. You know, you was in the Yay area. You know what I mean? We was mobbing. So, hey, shout out to Planet Asia.
So, yeah, we're going to do a breakdown, Leroy. We're going to do a breakdown. And I don't know if the audience would appreciate it. Y'all let us know in the chat if y'all want to. We did a Jay-Z breakdown. We did a Nas album breakdown. Yeah. We did an Eminem album breakdown. Who do you want us to do next? Should we do Snoop Dogg? Should we do, because he has a lot of albums. So we go through T.I. Should we do Snoop Dogg? Should we do Kanye? Should we do who should we do? What's in the series? In the series, we started off with Jay, then we went to Nas, then we did Eminem. Who's the next one we're going to do? We were going to do Ghostface last week, but that didn't quite work out, right? But I think we might have to go through Snoop's catalog and see, go album by album, song by song, and thumbs up, thumbs down, in the middle. You know, we're going to find out if it's like that, you know.
Let's do it. And I got to represent for Snoop, man, because that's our OG, man. I got to represent for Snoop. So let's first start with Rhythm and Gangster. Everybody go back and let's listen to Rhythm and Gangster, and let's see if it's a classic.
That's the homework assignment. That's the homework assignment. Listen to Rhythm and Gangster, and then we'll do a Snoop album breakdown maybe in a couple weeks. We'll go to another coast next week. But
Rhythm and Gangster and Last Meal. So 2 albums. Rhythm and Gangster, Last Meal. Let's go back and listen to them and hear if they one of them ones. You know what I mean?
We can do Big Pun. We can do Big Pun, but Pun didn't have a lot of albums. So I want to go through. We want to do somebody who has an exhaustive catalog. It's like a Kanye, where we go album by album, track by track.
Pun, in honor of Big Pun, since everybody go listen to Fred the Godson, you know, in honor of Big Pun. But Big Pun, because we can only do Capital Punishment and the Terror Squad album, and but everybody listen to Fred the Godson. He's from the Bronx too. But
I'm gonna put a poll up on Facebook. I'm gonna put a poll up on Facebook or YouTube in a couple hours, and I'm gonna let y'all know in the album review series who's the next one. So I'm hearing people say we should do Scarface. I'm hearing people say we should do Snoop, Ghostface, and maybe Kanye. Those are the 4. Maybe DMX. Maybe I give you 5 options.
Y'all already know Kanye already. Y'all know his albums, right? So y'all want me to go through the albums? Y'all know the albums. But go ahead.
T.I., we can do T.I. T.I. might be a good one, but yeah, we'll come to that later. So let's get to the West Coast classic that you had on your list, Chronic 2001. Tell me your thoughts about Chronic 2001. all these years later.
Chronic 2001, man. Y'all know that was the one. Like that held down the year. Yeah, there was a lot of great albums. What was it, 99 when that dropped? But y'all know 2001 is like when Dre got back on his thing, man. People counted him out with the Aftermath album, and I get it. That was on some collaboration. You know, there was a lot going on with that. But 2001, come on, he did his thing, man. He came back strong. It had everybody on it. Every West Coast legend, classic, every type of production and feel you could go with, from the classic West Coast sound to something more modern to introducing Eminem. Now, granted, Eminem, we knew Eminem by this point from the freestyles and his demos and all that, but Eminem, you know what I mean? Everybody was Snoop, Kurupt, but y'all know the Dog Pound was there. But 2000, it really showcased Dre's preciseness with production, right? We're here for, and Dre was transitioning from a G-Funk sound into more of a modern sound, into like something more hard hitting and a little bit darker, right? So you get the Dre intro, the first song, The Watcher, and you get, other things on there like, the LA song, the last song. You get What's the Difference Between Me and You. But you also get the classic sounds as well. You know what I mean? Devin the Dude is on there in the second song. You know what I mean? You got Kurupt on there with Nate. You know what I mean? All these women and all these hoes, but it's the classic California sound, as well as some transition into something new. So 2001, we gotta salute that. You gotta salute that, man.
2001 was crazy. I remember like it was yesterday. I remember going to Sam Goody,
taking
the plastic off, jumping in my old car that couldn't crank up, putting it on, listening to Explosive too many times that I shouldn't listen to. Listening to that Kurupt verse.
Yeah,
my mama saying, "What the hell are you listening to, boy?" And I'm like, "I'm just listening to some great music, ma."
Right.
I'm listening to that. I'm listening to those keys on Still DRE, watching the video, that was done by Hype Williams. I mean, I remember looking at TRL back in the day when he rolled up and that, that drop, him and Snoop got out. It was like about 50,000, 60,000 people in Times Square. That was one of the most iconic performances I can think of, man. And it was just a fun era, because in that era, it was like a lot of pop music was out, right? You had those boy bands, you had these pop singers out, and he came with that raw, man. 2001, you got The Watcher, you got Still DRE, you got Explosive,
Still DRE.
It's just a great record, man. It's a great record. I wish they would have kept that momentum up.
Bang, bang.
He would have came out with Detox shortly after, man. I think if he would have came out with Detox shortly after, that would really, he's a legend already, but I would have further entrenched him as the greatest of all time, man. Especially because people were saying they were hearing records from the Detox. I don't know why the record never came out. Back on 106 and Park, I remember Denzel Washington came up and said, "Yeah, he heard the record." And this is like almost 20 years ago, and it never came out. I remember there was a commercial. Mike rapped on this record. He rapped on the beat.
Yeah,
and they released it. It was called The Next Level. It was like doom 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 doom. Hey, go to YouTube when we get off this show and Google the next put The Next Level in the search. Yeah. I think it had Snoop. It's like Dr. Dre and the Neptunes. If he would have used that beat, it's out of here, man. So 2001 is something else.
Yeah.
It's something else, man. It's something else, man. I don't think we'll ever get that time back, man. I don't think we'll ever get that time back. So what was it when 2001 dropped, Leroy? What was the West Coast? What was it? What was that? What was going on around that time? You know what I'm saying? What was going on around that time, and what did it do to the West Coast at that point?
We look at Dre as almost like it's the West Coast and then it's Dr. Dre, like as if he's a separate entity. But we know he's West Coast, but he's Dr. Dre. He's looked at as the big, the shining light on the hill, right? So when he dropped that album, it just confirmed. Everybody was like, yeah, you know what I mean? We told y'all, you know what I mean, that he was one of them ones. So but it's production, right? It's production. We know that he's not trying to be the greatest MC. We know he's not DOC. You know, and we know he's not DOC, but we know that production wise, he gets busy. So when he dropped that album, it confirmed what we all thought would be greatness, right? We had the Chronic before that. Now we got Chronic 2001. A lot of us was too young. I was kind of too young for the Chronic. I listened to the Chronic, but you know, I'm not outside in the street. I'm just going to school every day, right? When I hear the Chronic. But when I hear Chronic 2001, I'm outside. I'm in the club life. I'm in the, you know, I'm everywhere. You know what I mean? So, and that was popping. You know what I mean? That's what it was.
Man, we need to do a review. I had an idea of I don't want to tell my idea, but I want to do a show strictly to 2001, and like the making of it. You know, talk to some producers, talk to Mel Band, talk to folks that actually worked on it, talk to Kurupt, and really go behind the process. We can talk to Dr. Dre, great, but that's what I want to do. I want to go into a deep dive of how did that album get made? Now, a lot of people say that album was top heavy, right? You know, the next episode, Explosive, Still DRE.
Right.
The filler stuff wasn't as good. It didn't really hold up as it should have, right? Like, What's the Difference was cool. But other than that, I mean, you know, it had some stuff that, you know, it had some skippable things. I Forgot About Dre. It was a hit, but I would skip that. American Negro News says, to be honest, Dr. Dre took a lot of credit that should have went to Daz. Also, DJ Quick did a lot of mixer and mastering for Dr. Dre. You know, I said that a couple weeks ago. Yeah. American Negro News, and people roasted me in the chat. But and then Daz even said it himself that, you know, he did a lot of production work that's uncredited. But Daz, we'll find out more about that. You know what I mean? We'll talk to him and get his thoughts about that.
Yeah, whether you credit Dre or Daz, they're in the same room. So whichever one you credit, someone was in the room, Daz or Dre. So they were both in the same room. So you credit in the same energy. You know what I mean? So it's all good. You know what I mean? Chronic was one of them ones, man. But Dre or Daz, you know, I think both work together, right? I think Dre was like, you know, watch how I do my thing, right? And Daz was probably like, well, I got my own thing, but let me watch, because I also want to learn too. You know what I mean? Like, because, you know, Daz at this point is still in the street. So he's looking at Dre like, Dre, you know what I mean? So I'm taking both, learn from both, because, you know, when you got a young energy around, they'll create something in that moment, right? Whereas the OGs were kind of more calculated, right? So, but both are working together. You'll have the in the moment energy, and then you'll have the more calculated energy that'll come back and engineer that energy the right way, so it can be heard the right way, right? So it doesn't just sound super raw, but it's some refinement to the raw energy, right? So both is working together in my mind. You know what I mean?
I got you. So we talked about a lot, man. I know there's some folks in the chat said we got to give people in the Bay some love. Shout out to J-Felony, man. Shout out to J-Felony. What's your thoughts on J-Felony? I wasn't really big hip. You know, I was on the East Coast, so I really didn't get off into J-Felony like that. I just know the one he did. I think he had a record with Method Man. He had a record with was Ras Kass on that record too? I know he was signed to Def Jam, but I think Method Man and somebody else who was on that record. But I didn't really know much about J-Felony. Tell us about J-Felony. What was the West Coast? How was the West Coast responding and feeling J-Felony back in the day?
I wasn't big on J-Felony. You know what I mean? Now, I think when I think he was on Def Jam, right? So, I think J-Felony, is he from Dago or LA? Somebody in the chat, let me know. Shout out to Mitchie Slick. But, you know, it was like maybe he was popping where he's from, like Richie Rich is popping where I'm from. You know, Richie Rich was on Def Jam. So when Richie Rich came out, you know, throw your hands up, let's ride. He's from Oakland. That was big for us. Maybe J-Felony is big where he's from like that. But, you know, I wasn't big on him like that. You know what I mean?
I got you. Man, another person we didn't talk about. We didn't talk about Quick.
Quick, you know what I mean? Quick is one of them ones too, man. And again, it's the production, right? We know Quick is nice lyrically as far as just like he has a smooth delivery somewhere in between Camplo and Jigga. You know what I mean? But he's just and sugar free. And you know, but he's a smooth dude, but the production, right? It's a nice tonight, you know what I mean? But and you know, he's official. He had his run-ins with MC8 lyrically. You know what I mean? You got one side of town versus the other. But you know, Quick is official. I wasn't big on Quick like that, but I do know he got classics. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and plus behind the boards, he is regarded as one of the best West Coast producers of all time, man. And straight out of Compton. Not born and raised in Compton, sorry.
Yeah.
But you know, we gotta give Quick his flowers, man. We gotta give Quick his flowers, man. We gotta give Quick his flowers. Let's go. We need to check out Quick's discography. He came out in the 90s, early 90s. He came out, he did Tonight, Born and Raised in Compton. That was on the first album. Quick is the Name. Then Way Too Funky was dope. I remember Way Too Funky. That kind of really, in the South, I was in South Carolina at the time. That's when I really was first introduced to Quick, was Way Too Funky. You know what I mean? So shout out to Quick, man. There's a lot of West Coast legends. Tonight we wanted to give people on the West Coast their flowers. They throwing their sets up. They getting Cypress Hill. Cypress Hill was in Atlanta last night. Shout out to Cypress Hill. I didn't get a chance to check them out.
Cypress Hill, like just like I was talking about Onyx from the East Coast the other day. Onyx is a particular town. Cypress Hill is a particular sound, and they was lit. Like shout out to all the Mexican homies. When you deal with California, it's not just the blacks, it's also the Mexicans. So it's two cultures. And for the Cypress Hill was like the NWA for the Mexicans. You know what I mean? So all my Latino homies, you know what I mean? My homies from the barrio, you know what I mean? All the, you know, norteños, sureños, you know, 14s and 13s, lowriders, you know what I mean? You know, everything, Chicos and everything. That's a real thing in California. That's a real culture. You know what I mean? So Cypress Hill, they spoke to that culture. You know what I mean? Just like there's another brother I want to recognize too. It'll come back to me. You know what I mean? I think it was Ice something, but that's a whole culture. And Cypress Hill is a thing. And they had classic material. Insane in the Membrane. But after that too, you know what I mean? After that, just like Ice-T, they crossed the line between hardcore hip hop and a little bit of rock influence. You know what I mean? So, but they spoke to a culture from the Latino perspective, from the Mexican perspective, and that's some real shit. That's some gangster shit. You know what I mean?
Yo, shout out to DJ Muggs, shout out to Be Real. They were in town last night, man. Again, I didn't get a chance to check them out, man. But
I want to hear DJ Muggs and CeeLo. That album, I know that album is already done, DJ Muggs. Soul Assassins. I need to hear that. I've been up on the Alchemist stuff, but I know y'all the same camp. I know you running around with Alchemist, Muggs, but Alchemist, you and CeeLo, I need to hear that, brother. Come on, man. Soul Assassins, come on. LA, come on, man. What we doing? You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
And before we open up the phone lines tonight, I would be remiss to not shout out, you know, NWA and how they opened the doors and kind of the world-class wrecking crew, Dr. Dre.
Come on.
Eazy-E is one of the architects of West Coast hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Eazy-E.
Yeah.
As a musical icon, a person that put together different groups and had a vision to, you know, to curate music and find talent and identify talent in this hip hop game. You know, that we would be set back without the work of Eazy-E. You know what I'm saying? Also, shout out to Pac. You know, Pac was born in New York, grew up in Baltimore, and then he was accepted and raised in the Bay. Later on his teenage life, young adulthood.
Yep.
Shout out to Pac. We really can't talk about the West Coast without Pac because he put the West on his back when he shouted it out. You know what I mean? So and we'd be remiss not to talk about Nipsey, who was one of the New Jacks, man, that put the West Coast on their back, man. So who's new? So shout out to Pac, shout out to Nipsey, shout out to Eazy, shout out to Suge, because Suge had a big impact on West Coast music. You know what I'm saying? paving the way with Death Row. So we got to show Suge some love as well. Who's on the apart from Kendrick and Game, and Game is a little older, and Kendrick's a little older now too. He's been out for a while. Who are the new guys in the West Coast? Who are you hearing out there now, Leroy, that are the people that are going to take the mantle? You got YG, you got guys like that. But who are the new guys? Who are the new guys on the West Coast? Larry June, you got Larry June. Who's the new guys?
We got Larry June. Shout out to Larry June. Hey, Frisco, man. I was born in San Francisco. Shout out Frisco. Larry June, what we doing? You know what I'm saying? Hunters Point, what we doing? Hey, Messy Marv, you just came home, my brother. D Block, Santa Rita, what we doing? Hey, right next to you. I'm here, my brother. But Larry June is one of them ones. You know what I mean? Larry June, so I'm repping the whole California, man. I I got love for everybody. The East, the South, the North, Midwest, even across the seas. But I'm California, man. You know what I mean? This, so yeah, Larry June is one of them new ones. Somebody said Simba. I don't know much about Simba. Y'all gotta put me on. Y'all gotta put me on to that. But California, I'm here, man. I'm here as far as the new, new California, but it's all one California. You know what I mean? Larry June right now, I would say I don't want to put too much on it, like name a whole bunch of people, you know what I mean? Because I got to see some more, you know what I mean? I got to see some more. But Larry June, he's hitting right now. So shout out. I just told someone about him. And he reminds me of the young Mac Dre. He reminds me. So that makes it fun for me to listen to. He be with the orange juice. Larry June is the orange juice. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, I wish I had him on my Montana jersey, man. 49ers, you know what I mean? But Frisco, let's go. You know what I mean?
Yo, in the chat, y'all give me other than Lady of Rage. Where's Lady of Rage from? Lady of Rage was from.
I know she's L.A., right? She from L.A.
Lady of Rage. Where's she from? Was she from L.A.? Was she repped L.A.? Let me see where she was from. Lady of Rage, because my point is I want to talk about. She was born in Virginia.
Oh, okay.
But, I don't think she was from LA. I think she was just on death row.
Oh, shout out Virginia though. Shout out Virginia. You know what I mean?
I want to talk about the female MCs out there. Other than Yo-Yo, what was some other female? I want to give the ladies their love.
Conscious Daughters. Conscious Daughters.
Conscious Daughters. Okay, Conscious Daughters was one. Who else was?
Mystique.
Who else was a female MC that was on the West Coast? I want to make sure I give everybody their props tonight.
Someone said Kamaya. All right, Kamaya. You know what I mean? I was saying Merciless. Miraculous. One of them, man. I got to go back to it, but she used to rap with Messy Marv too. But let me see.
Sugar T. Somebody said Sugar T.
Oh yeah, Sugar T. You know what I mean? Hey, Sugar T. Shout out to her. You know what I mean?
Shout out to Yo-Yo. Shout out to Yo-Yo. You know what I mean?
Yo-Yo. You know what I mean?
Silky Fine, Snow the Product.
Snow the Product. We from the same. We from similar areas. Snow the Product, but yeah.
Marvelous from Sacramento. Yeah, we try to show people love tonight.
Yes, the mob. Yeah.
We try to show people love tonight. So I put I'm putting the call in line in the chat. You're welcome to call in and let us know what you guys think. JJ Fad. Yep, JJ Fad was from the West Coast.
Yeah. I want to elaborate on the Kendrick and Drake situation, but if not, we can keep it here.
We can keep it here, or we can just open the phone lines up and let y'all just cook whatever y'all want to talk about tonight. We will talk about it before we wrap up. We just want to open up to the people because this is according to hip hop. It's just not us just talking about it. We live it, we think it, we breathe it. We want to share the platform with you guys. It's not about us just talking ad nauseum, right? We want to open it up, get your thoughts. It's a conversation with the people. It's according to hip hop. So I put the link in the chat.
I got Drake or Kendrick. I got a tie because I think both could have done a lot better. I think both could have chose a better angle that would have been crazy. But, you know, open up the phone lines. Come in, holler at me. A lot of y'all want to holler at me. You got a lot to say when the phone line's not open. So when they open, holler at me. Come on, holler at me.
Who do we got in the battle? I think I already said it. I got to give it to K-Dot by default, even though I don't like how you won it. But in war, in the battle, there's maybe no rules in it, right? But I think he had the bigger hit record out of it. Not like us. It's the hit. So he won. I do like 616 in LA, which I talked about with Vay on Thursday. That's one of my favorites. I didn't like Meet the Grams. I don't like the approach of the record. It sounds a little dark to me. I didn't like the fact that he went, playing moral. I don't like when Dot's playing like the moral police, right? I just don't like that. You got a gambling problem, a drinking problem. I don't like the women that you mess with. I don't like how you look and you dress. That's weak energy to me, right? I mean, I never heard these things in the battle. I never heard someone say I don't like the girls that you deal with. That's just crazy to me. It's mind-boggling.
That's an angle.
I never heard anybody say in a rap battle that you got a drinking problem and a drug problem. And again, I never heard these things. When we talk about rap music, we talk about rock and roll music. We're not talking about Sunday service church music. You know what I'm saying? So that was kind of odd to me that he took that route. He took a media-driven route, right? These are some of the things that people are talking about in the media in 2024 about misogyny and things like that. So he played into that pocket, the Me Too era pocket of media narratives to kind of go at Drake, and Drake fell into it. Right now, Kendrick underestimated K-Dot because Drake being from Toronto, even though his father's from Memphis, even his uncle was instrumental to a lot of American black music. He didn't play into that angle. Kendrick was able to expose him being on the island by himself, and with Not Like Us, he galvanized the whole coast. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I think kind of Drake kind of took a misstep. But Family Matters was a great record. Any other battle that wins, and also they kind of set Drake up because I've never since Jay. Since Jay and maybe Nas was in this category, I've never seen an MC or a rapper or an artist have to address 20 different people at a time. You know what I'm saying? So
I've been trying to address 20 people.
20, you
got 20 people because everyone's coming at you. So you got to hit multiple targets. Drake should have said, yeah, there is something to be said about expansion. And when I came through the game, I came in continuing what Kanye was doing, basically like, I'm not a gangster. I'm the regular guy. And I came in and extended that and went into R&B, went into love songs. So we're going to talk about women, but I was the one making records for the women that when y'all go to the club and y'all bring back women, I was the guy getting the women in the mood for y'all to go to the club and do y'all one too. So y'all got to give me credit for that. Drake should have went that route. Like that is cultural. Like when us going to the club and pulling females, that's cultural. That's cultural, brother. Drake should have leaned in. Like I made that more like comfortable and more easy to do. Kendrick should have went with ever since back in the day, we've had certain writers and producers to come in, take a style like the blues and make it country, take jazz and make it another kind of jazz, take R&B and make it pop, take rap and make it mainstream, and you represent that. And Drake should have been like, yeah, but I had to study the craft and I'm half culture. I'm half culture. And again, when I come through, even though everyone's trying to be tough, right? We respect y'all want to be tough, but when y'all go out, you want that female energy, and Drake came back with that in a Kanye-esque type of way that made it like, okay, we could rock with it.
Right. Michael Brown had a point in here. He said John had people at his neck like that. But I don't know if it was coordinated like this because I don't recall Ja Rule having a producer making a diss track to him like BBL Drizzy. I don't recall it coming out in subsequent weeks as it did, right? I don't recall. I know Busta Rhymes was going at Ja Rule a little bit. He had Eminem going at Ja Rule. But that was all family thing because I think Busta was on Aftermath at the time. So it was like everybody clicked up with 50 and went at him. I can't think of anybody outside of Aftermath. I can stand correct. I know DMX, him and DMX had a little squabble. But I think that this was kind of unprecedented because I've never heard a producer make a beat exclusively to diss somebody with BBO Drizzy. The ASAP Rocky going at him. You had Rick Ross going at him. You got Future, who really didn't say much, but he's allowing it to go. You had Kanye going at him. I don't know, saying that Ja Rule of the time, it would be like Ja Rule. Jay was going at Ja Rule, and then Nas was going at Ja Rule, and then you had who else? Fabulous was going at Ja Rule. I don't think this was the same type of deal. So I ain't making excuses for Aubrey Graham. I'm just saying this was unprecedented to me. Unless I'll stand corrected, maybe prove me wrong. But I don't think that Ja Rule had the same gauntlet to go through that Drake did. That's just my perspective.
Well, he had 50 Cent, you know what I mean? 50 Cent. But again, it's like that, man. It's not Drake that y'all mad at. It's what you think Drake represents that you're mad at. So with Ja Rule or Jay-Z, it's not Ja or Jay that you're mad at. It's what you think they represent, which is valid. They represent a expansion of hip hop into a more commercial setting. So everybody's going to go against Drake now because Drake is not going to put up one hit or two hit. He's going to put up 100. He's going to put up 100 hits. Why? Because he's focused on something else, right? But you need both. You need a Kendrick and you need a Drake. Both got to exist in this hip hop thing. And Drake could have been like, yeah, y'all may not like me, right? And I get it. Y'all ain't got to like me, but I push culture in my own way. It's on the other side of the fence that y'all don't recognize. And that's cool. That's cool. But I do my job, right? I do my job. So in case y'all want to go to that other side of the fence and go, you know, Coachella and go crazy with the mainstream, I'm rocking over there. You know what I mean? So everyone plays their position, and Kendrick and Drake should have rode on that, and Kendrick should have did what he did. It devolved into something else, but that's all I got to say. I got off what I wanted to say about it, but I think that if Kendrick would have took a cultural approach, Drake wouldn't come back. And I think if Drake took an approach like, yeah, I'm on the other side of the culture, but I'm still hip hop. Now let me just bar this out. I think Kendrick might have a problem. So when it comes to Game and Ross, I think Game and Ross should show Kendrick and Drake how to do this. So I think Ross should respond. Drake and Ross should go back and forth with good music, so they can show Drake and Kendrick how to do it with good music. That's it. That's all.
I just want to make sure I correct something in the chat. I didn't say that Fab was going at Ja. I was saying I don't think he was. I don't think Fab. No one other than 50, Eminem, Busta at the time, DMX, maybe Jay. I gotta remember if Jay said anything about, because I think Jay was part of the Def Jam folds. I don't know why he would be going at and DMX was a part of Def Jam too, but I don't know why Jay would be going at Ja at the time. But I think this is unprecedented because Drake is going after Raw, is getting heat from Ross, he's getting heat from ASAP Rocky, he's getting a diss beat by Metro. You got Future hanging out there. You got man, who else is there? You got a guy singing on the record. You got, what's his name? Weekend singing, crooning disses to Drake. You know what I'm saying? And falsetto disses to Drake. So this is some new stuff, man. Like I said, I've not seen any. Michael Brown, I would love for you to correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never seen singers and producers and rappers. This seems like a coordinated effort. It seems like an effort to remove somebody from a space, and I see the energy. But we got a super chat by My Mere Thoughts. Side note, Leroy, I've been giving you a lot of criticism. Yes, you have, sir. You indeed have been giving him. A lot of people give us criticism. We're the most criticized guys in the space, but you seem like a cool dude. Well, damn, appreciate that, man. Appreciate that, Leroy. You got somebody. You're growing on the folks, man. You're growing on the folks.
Nah, man, I'm a fan just like y'all. I'm a fan, man. I'm a fan. So we just watching this whole thing unfold. I'm watching it with y'all. You know what I'm saying? We watching it all unfold in hip hop. So appreciate you.
No doubt. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say on the battle, man. People don't want to call in tonight. I guess it's Saturday night. People are chilling, get ready for church tomorrow. Watching the game or something. You know what I mean? But I'll put the link in the chat one more time. I don't have anything else. When we talked about the West Coast greats. We talked about some new shows that we have coming up. I think the video show is going to drop soon.
People want at me when the link is not open. When the link is open, if you need to holler at me, if you need to pull up, because other than that, when you gonna pull up? Now I'll be in your city too, and you can pull up. Like I'll let y'all know where I'm at.
Nah, Leroy. We don't have to do that. We're just podcasters talking about hip hop. We don't need to do that. But we just
not like that. Not pull up like that, but pull up so we could talk. Pull up so we could talk. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. Pull up so we could talk. That's all I'm saying.
I really got no conversation. What Jay-Z says? What did Jay-Z say in the basement? Fake expected real just won't be because they know that's the only way we ever going to speak. We never going to see eye to eye. Your type of real I don't recognize. It's all televised. Mobsters opt to not get in beef. There's no business in it. We only brings police. Wanksters want beef in the name of the street. I mean, that's what Hov said in the basement. You know what I'm saying?
I understand that energy. I understand.
He said, "Real respect me. Real fake want beef because they know that's the only way we ever going to speak. You're never going to see eye to eye. Your type of real I don't recognize. It's all televised. Mobsters opt to not get in beef. There's no business in it. It only brings police. Wanksters want beef and they name in the street." I mean, it's just, it's real talk. Jay was talking that talk, man. Jay was talking that talk.
No, Jay was talking that talk. As far as the K-Dot and Drake thing, though, I do think Drake is a worthy opponent. People are writing him off as if Drake is some kind of like weak opponent or something. Like at first, it kind of started with K-Dot being to look that way, but K-Dot did his thing as he's supposed to. But people are looking at Drake like he's a layup. Like, no, Drake is a worthy opponent. Like, I expect people to team up on him, right? So if that's what it's going to be, let do that. You know what I mean? And let's see, because the Hort 6, I like that one, just like I like the last Kendrick one. But I think that, maybe we should get back into the bars, you know what I mean? And as far as, everything else, I understand all energies, right? So whatever people want to do, I'm with that. But I got to represent hip hop culture. I got to cook just like everybody else should be representing hip hop culture and should be cooking. So we good, man. Do your thing. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. So Monday, we're going to put the poll up. Monday show. I think people are tired. Are y'all tired of the Kendrick and Drake talk? I think we beat that subject to death.
Maybe. We could go Conway and Ghostface. I with the Ghostface, I was a little disappointed. Now there are fire tracks on there. It's a lot of tracks. It's a lot of features. It's a lot of. It's just, I think it could have been iller. Now I get what he's setting it up for Supreme Clientele too, which I hope he's setting it up for Supreme Clientele too. But it's like, first of all, 6 minutes is fire. Pair of Hammers is fire. Skate Odyssey, I don't know. Scar Tissue, I don't know. Kilo to the Safe, fire. No Face, fire. Fat Cape Fear, fire. Then it kind of starts to fall off. Locked In, cool. But the rest after that, I get what you're trying to do, Ghostface. I get it. But I think Supreme Clientele, I think, like I said, let's go left and try to be creative as possible. And I know you could do it. You're the architect of that, Ghostface. Top, you're one of the greatest of all time. I know you could do that. Conway, I think that you could have spent a little bit more time with Cool and Dre, right? Give and Give was a great song, my brother. Conductor is a great producer. But I think Cool and Dre, I think they could do for you what they kind of did for Game and Fat Joe, which Game and Fat Joe, they're known for the gangster shit. But they with Cool and Dre, it kind of gave them another layer, right? Another layer of musicality. They had the kind of Miami bass line in it. They had the kind of they had the sparkle to it. And I think Cool and Dre and Conway, they should work more closely together. But great job for both Conway and Ghostface. I appreciate y'all. Fine.
No doubt. Well, I think that's it. People don't want to call in tonight. That's fine. And I'm about to go have a beer and talked to the wife for a little bit. I think we had a good show. We wanted to give the West Coast MCs their love and their respect. Right now, they're doing a walk on them right now, and they're coming together based on Not Like Us. Shout out to Nipsey. Shout out to everybody in the Bay. Shout out to everybody in Fresno. Shout out to everybody in Sacramento. Shout out to everybody in San Jose. Shout out to everybody in LA. What else am I missing out? Carson, Anaheim, San Diego. What else? What else am I missing?
Yeah, Pomona, Inglewood, you know what I mean? The whole area, of course, you know, Vallejo, Frisco, Oakland, Richmond, Sacramento, San Jose, the whole Bay Area. But California in general, man, you know, we put a lot of game into hip hop, man. So we wanted to pay respects to the West Coast today. You know what I mean? And we respect all the coasts. We respect the whole hip hop. So we're going to make rounds and make our circle and show love to everybody. So
no doubt. Tune in on Monday. Watch out for the announcement for the video show.
Yeah.
90 minutes. That's the name of it. We dropping soon. It'll be on Rumble. It'll be on X, Twitter. So shout out for the announcement. It's going to drop like a Kendrick Lamar diss track against Drake. It's going to come out of nowhere. We got the videos loaded up. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody in the chat. Much love to our supporters. Email us at info@accordinghiphop.com for a shirt. Make sure you subscribe to our newsletter. Our newsletter will be out tomorrow for a chance to win some tickets to a festival. And like that, man, it's According to Hip Hop, man. We appreciate you. Shout out to you, man.
Yes, appreciate y'all, man. Everybody, I'll see y'all soon, man.
Have a wonderful night, guys.
Good night, y'all. Peace.
Yeah. A2HH, we going live. Y'all already know the flow, so it's no surprise. Get focused, open both your eyes. In these tumultuous times, we the hope supply with the dopest vibe. Change your frequency. We go to war and leave peacefully 2 times a week and let the people see. Talking about the mainstream artists and the elite MCs on your computers, but we should be on your TV screens. Haters ain't seeing green. They just stressed out, sticking their neck out until I become a guillotine. Or guillotine, however you pronounce it. Sneak attack, just a freestyle, I ain't announce it. For those that really know me out there, how could you doubt this? The flow that found the youth fountain. Who's counting? Move mountains, how are you sounding? Y'all better watch the man. I'm known to throw punches, I'm a boxing fan. You the one still in bars, I could be chopping hands. Y'all can cook, just bring your own pots and pans. In the kitchen, whipping, still a go against the system. Some is glad, some is mad that I'm in this position. What y'all need to do is pay attention. They say rappers in a grave condition. To save it, we'll take the mission. What's up? Huh. Woo. What's up? Eric. Yeah.